All right, Joe, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
The 31st annual Trojan Classic Basketball Tournament, sponsored by the Hillsborough Trojan Booster Club.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back to Moundridge Sports Network here for some championship girls basketball action tonight. Hesston Swathers on a nice 9-0 win streak here as they have stormed through the 3 seed this tournament. They beat Eureka first round, and then they they beat Remington first round, excuse me. And now they got a matchup with the Cats, looking to get their first ever Trojan Classic Championship. The Cats have beaten Holcomb and faced Hillsborough in the semifinal game. Getting things situated now, looking to start, and starting lineups are over for the starters for the Cats. The usual 5: Addie Patrick, 5'6" junior, number 2. Number 3, a 5'7" junior, Cami Unruh, and number 11, a 5'6" sophomore, Hallie Hecox, and number 20, a 5'8" sophomore, Hattie Hecox. And rounding things off, a 5'10" junior, Macy Kamiko, number 24. Should be a pretty fun game here, and looking to get a nice win. The Cats, they've already got 2 wins so far, so it's been a successful tournament run either way.
Scholastic activities are offered to allow our student athletes the opportunity to practice positive behaviors when faced with competition. We appreciate your efforts to make sure this is as positive as possible. Your officials this evening, Mr. Matt Johnson, Mr. Clint Chamberlain, Mr. Gary Hall.
So yeah, we've been looking at a great matchup tonight against number 5 Moundridge girls against number 3 Hesston girls, and yeah, Connor, it's going to be a good one. Very exciting teams to watch. The championship game of the Trojan Classic.
An absolute packed house here in Hillsborough on a nice 33-degree evening, about to get things kicked off here. Kinderbruggen versus Macy Kamiko on the tip, and here comes Unruh forming through 4-on-1, and it does not matter. Cami Unruh gets things kicked off with a basket of her own. Right side here, McGill. Hesston loves to run their little bounce around offense. They're going to want to get the ball to Kinderbruggen. That's a name we're going to be saying a lot. She's committed to Missouri State, and she drives through the lane and puts one up for an and one. Kinderbruggen already off to a good start.
That'll be the first team foul on Moundridge.
Starters for Hesston is number 5, Callie Yoder, number 3, Kendall Berrugan, number 21, Avery Crable, number 20, Casey Mason, and rounding things off, number 35, Ava McGill. The all senior-led lineup is side for number 5, Callie Yoder. She's a junior. So pretty experienced Hesston team, and versus the Moundridge, who is all no seniors in their lineup and mostly underclassmen led as their junior core of Unruh, Patrick, and Kamiko. As Patrick drives through, finds Hecox, who bobbles the ball a little bit. Inside now to her sister at the wing. Driving inside, looking for something. Hecox thinks about a 3, doesn't take this, back to Patrick, who's a pretty good 3-point shooter of her own. As cutting through now is Hecox, and Kamiko is drawing that double. Here's a long 3-pointer from Patrick, and that's just off. Great rebound by Unruh. She tips that through, and it's stolen by Kinderbruggen on a whole head of steam. She drives through and puts it up, and another and one for Kinderbruggen. Already off to a fantastic start for her. 4 points in the first 2 minutes.
And Kinderbruggen starting to riot early on in the Hesston game, getting down the floor with ease.
She missed her first and one, and she does not miss that one. That's 5 points now. So 5-2, Moundridge down by 3 as Hesston's going to pressure the court a little bit. As Hecox walks it up. Pretty rowdy gym here tonight. You can hear Hesston's student section going against Moundridge's. We're going to see who's the better student section as Cami Unruh gets a and one of her own. Goes to the line on a nice little lay-in there, so they're battling back and forth a little bit. As Unruh bangs that free throw in, so we got a tie ball game here. 6:35 left to go. Coming inside now is Bruggen. She thinks about it. Going to pull a deep three with Unruh in her mouth, and that just does not come. She gets her own rebound, puts one up over Hecox. It gets a high arcing layup to go. Kendall Bruggen with the first 7 points of the game for Hesston. Swathers are proving why they lost deep in their state tournament run last year to a talented Rock Creek team. As Kendall Bruggen led the way for them last year, graduated a few key seniors, but they've picked right back up where they left off. So 6 minutes left, 5-7. As Unruh gets this to Hecox. I think Moundridge has matched the energy almost perfect tonight from Hesston. Kendall Bruggen's come out, as we said, first 7. Unruh's got their first 5. So, I mean, they've come out of the gate hot. Here comes Hecox off top of the key. They love their dribble drive offense here. As here's Hecox, a deep triple, and that one's just off the lip of the rim. Rebounded by Proctor before stolen by Hecox, and she takes a pretty hard foul, wiping her eye. Hecox still trying to figure out that eye issue. Looks to be okay. There's 5:44 left to go in these first 5-7. Bruggen, who had a 3 from that similar area, thinks about it, hands this to Proctor, a fellow senior who played all 4 years of varsity with her. As Miguel drives through, cuts up, inside, goes to the pivot, right back to Proctor. Proctor to Yoder. Yoder thinks about it, gives this one to Proctor. So there's 2 Proctors on the court right now. As Bruggen spins out, gives this to J.C. Proctor, and Proctor goes out, tipped by Unruh, stolen by Unruh, and she gets it to Kamiko. Great defensive play there from Unruh, showing that athleticism off. So inside here is Patrick. Patrick up on the top of the key, shakes and bakes. Yoder closely playing that on-ball defense, and she got called for a foul.
You know, Connor, we're going to see a lot of hustle tonight. You know, Hesston's going to be playing close, tight defense, not going to let anyone drive easily. You know, same story on the Moundridge side. But the only scorers currently are Unruh and Bruggen at 5 and 7 for their teams.
And throwing this ball right out is Moundridge, and they will give this to Hesston. So one thing Moundridge does struggle with against teams that are fast and can speed them up is turnovers. So they really want to delegate those. They're averaging about 13.8 turnovers a game. Yoder up top, goes to the pivot before giving to Proctor. Proctor loses her ball. Unruh still on Proctor. They switched off, and Bruggen takes a deep 3 before it rattles the rim. And so Kamiko actually switched on to Bruggen on that play, so I wonder if they're going to switch up, trying to prevent Unruh from getting into foul trouble. Unruh hesitates, out on the corner, drives baseline before being shoved, and that will be a foul on Jaden Williams.
Foul number 2, Jaden Williams, her first personal, team foul number 4.
And a wide open stop and pop for Unruh, but that's not off. So missed shot by Unruh, 4:27 left to go in the first. Bruggen running down the hood as Steve Euros her way through, and it rattles the rim and goes. Kendall Bruggen, 9 points for the Swathers. and is on an absolute tear right now. Riley County actually held her to 3 points through the third quarter in their semifinal game last night.
And Hesston is just racking up those fouls with only 6 minutes elapsed so far.
Moundridge regaining their possession. You know, they've played a good amount of teams so far. They beat Hillsborough twice. But this is their first true test to see how good they really are against the top team in 3A. They played Holcomb, absolutely took care of business on Tuesday. Unruh misses that. As Conklin checks into the game for the Cats. Coming out is Patrick. So Unruh makes that one in, so 6 points for her. Unruh 24 for 33 from free throw this season. Pretty talented. Wide open now, Callie Yoder, and she gets that 3 ball to go. This place absolutely erupts. Hesston up 6-12 here with 3:52 left to go in the first. Inside, and that's one thing you got to do is you got to close out on Hesston as Hattie Hecox turns that one over, stepping outside of the baseline. As Bruggen now up top by the wing, looks for something. Crosses up Hecox, dishes this one down to Mason. Mason takes one, puts one up, and puts one just off the lip of the rim. Casey Mason there kind of gave Kamiko a taste of her own medicine, and Hecox flying through the lane is Unruh. She puts that one up closely. Guarded there was Bruggen, but that breaks the scoring drought. And only down 4 now. Unruh with the steal. She's so good with transition points. She's averaging 15 points per game, and about 7 of those come off of transition steals.
You know, that's part of Hesston's offense. They're looking for Bruggen on those backdoor cuts a lot from those spot-up shots.
As Hecox cuts through, puts up a floater, and it's all courts. Hattie Hecox on the board as someone new for Moundridge is scoring. Eight points a game for Hattie Hecox this season as she gives this down to stolen away now by Unruh. And she's going to fumble the ball, and she will get called for a travel. So a little bit of a mental error for Unruh. Checking in the game is Avery Crable, number 21. And coming on as well for Hesston is Ashley Lehman, who's a pretty talented cross-country runner. As Mason pump fakes over, then that to Lehman, Lehman to McGill. Posting her up is Crable, but she can't find her. Kendall Bruggen, a wide three-pointer. She takes a step back, puts one up in Hecox's face, and that's all cords. Kendall Bruggen sidestepping her way. 5-point lead now. Conklin with it, down 5 is the Cats. She thinks about one. She takes a lot of threes herself as Hecox now trying to get a ball screen here from Kamiko, and she cuts right through that Swather defense and lays it up there. Hattie Hecox, talented driver, really likes to use her pump fake motions, really athletic as well. As Mason wide open, thinks about it. He's going to dump this off to Bruggen. She shakes and bakes at the top of the key. Now McGill. McGill to Crable. Crable back out to Mason. She pump fakes, puts up one right at the elbow, and she doesn't get the bounce she wanted, but tipped away by Crable, and Hesston retains possession. And they will call an illegal screen on Crable, so that's her first. And turning it over now, so Moundridge has an opportunity to tie this ballgame up, Joe.
Yeah, it's been really three-point dominant so far. Kendall Bruggen getting to that sidestep, working that right side of the court. She's got 12 points out of 15 for her team so far. And on on Moundridge's side of the ball, Unruh got 8 for 12.
Kamiko gives this right back to Unruh. Unruh to Conkling now. Huxman loves using her freshman as a key piece. They have 7 freshmen on their varsity team. As Patrick goes through, puts up a floater, and will get called an offensive foul on a charge set by Casey Mason. Patrick picks up her second, and she will come out, and Hecox will come in. It's getting a taste of what state is like for the Wildcats here. Is a lot of back-to-backs and a lot of preparation on short time as Yoder has this crossing midcourt. Gives this down to Proctor. Proctor to Bruggen in the first quarter. 12:15 left to go, 33 seconds. Bruggen lays one up, spinning through the lane. Kendall Bruggen, 14 points tonight in the first quarter alone. Unruh takes a stop and pop triple, and you bet Cami Unruh going back and forth with Bruggen, and Bruggen actually transferred from Inman her freshman year, so these two are pretty familiar through middle school.
And that is a great response from Unruh at the 3 ball after Bruggen gets to her spin move in the paint.
And here comes Bruggen way downtown, thinks about a 3, can't bank it in. Unruh running down, Hesston heaps it before the horn, and that one is just outside. 15-17, exactly like we wanted. Looking for a great finish here, great start through the first. This will be back in a minute for action, second quarter action of the championship Trojan Classic on the girls' side. As we welcome you back to Moundridge Sports Network, as second quarter action is on its way, setting up for an electric finish here. As trading back and forth, a lot of 3-pointers and nice inside drives as well. Here's Proctor now. Proctor over to McGill. One thing Hesston loves to do is get the ball to number 3. She's got 14 tonight, but also Abby Proctor, also a senior, who is coming off of an injury of her own, of her back. So, and not in the starting lineup for this tournament, but usually is, I believe, as Yoder drives through, finds a cutting Proctor. She puts one up, and it's just not enough. Rebounded by Kamiko. Here come the Cats now down by 2 with 7:30 left to go in the second. Unruh now up top, drives around, shakes and bakes with McGill closely on her, drives baseline, tries to get over, but Proctor in her way. And wide at right is Hecox's short corner jumper. Yoder driving through now, trying to find something, stops her dribble. Great on-ball defense from the Cats all night so far. Bruggen driving through, sidestepping her way through, closely guarded by Unruh, and Unruh now still on her, cutting through the lane now is Swathers. They give this right back down to Proctor. Proctor right to her sister, and Abby Proctor lays it up for her first points of the night.
And that is good, patient basketball by the Swathers, looking for that open man down low. Great way for them to come into the second quarter.
19-15, 6:10 left to go in the second. Unruh up top, down to Hecox. Moundridge closely guarding and have been closely to Hesston all night. Hecox goes through the lane, puts one up, and cannot get the spin she wanted, as she will go to the line for 2.
Foul on number 15, Abby Proctor, her first personal. At the line, Hallie Hecox.
As Hallie's first free throw is good, and coming up now in the game is number 21, Avi Crable, and in favor coming out is JC Proctor and Abby Proctor, and coming out for the Cats is Macy Camico. Crable now to Yoder. Yoder walking up the court. Up by 2 here for the Swathers, and looking to get out of here with a little revenge from last year's Trojan Classic where they lost to Hillsborough.
Foul number 11, Hallie Hecox, her first personal.
Hillsborough's last Trojan Classic win was in 2023 versus Holcomb. As they look to get back to that, as Casey Mason drives through, puts up a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hook shot there, and rebounded by Stoss. Great rebound, in fact, as they're going to call a foul inside. As that's on number 5, Callie Yoder. That's her second of the game. And she will come out. A little bit of foul trouble here in the second quarter. And Jaden Williams will step back on, who has a foul of her own. And Emily will step out there not watching, as they call a turnover on that. Williams will walk it up as she fires one over to Bruggen. Bruggen now shakes up top, looking for Mason, who she will, gives this one down to Williams, and nice screen set by her. She rolls off beautifully on that, puts one up, and doesn't get the spin she wanted, gets her own rebound, puts that one up, and another miss for Casey Mason inside, as they're going to press their ball down. Hecox can't retain possession, but they will call a double dribble on her. So it's back-to-back turnovers on pretty important drives there, as 17-19, 5:02. As driving through now is Jaden Williams, and she puts that up, and that one is good for her first points of the night. Hecox driving through down to her sister as she thinks about a 3-ball, but Williams closely guarding her. And I think this thing Swather has done really good is no matter the mismatch, they're face guarding every time. Driving through now, and they will call another double dribble on the Cats. So it's 3 back-to-back turnovers on offensive possessions, shooting themselves in the foot as 17-21 now, 4:26 left to go. In the second. Checking in for the first time tonight is number 1, Ashley Patrick. Coming off is number 11, Hattie Hecox. And also coming off is Cami Unruh. Rugen now, driving through, has 14 already in this first half. Gives this down to Mason. Mason back to her. Rugen drives through, sidesteps, huge block from Stoss, and they will call a travel on that. And then all of a sudden, the Cats have momentum back on their favor, and I think one of the biggest things is the energy in the gym tonight.
Yeah, I'm about to say the energy in this gym is absolutely wild. Hesston student section's going crazy, and so is Moundridge on the other side.
Both these teams have strong communities, so I'm not shocked or surprised at all that they've both shown up.
I think that's on the floor. Yeah, it is. So Conklin will throw the ball in at the baseline. 17-21. Been a pretty tight game in this first half action.
15, Abby Proctor, 44, JC Proctor.
Inside now, Hecox drives through, finds something, puts a high arcing layup up before them. A big offensive rebound there for Macy Camico. Puts that one right back up. And 19-21, 3:44 left to go in the second. Under now, closely checking in, looking closely to stay out of foul trouble here, which is 2. Lehman inside, switching off now as the Cats, and they're doing a great job at pressurizing the basketball while staying not as aggressive and to getting burnt. Bruggen a deep triple just off top, and 19-21 remains. Closely guarded here is Abby Proctor. Conkling, the freshman, crosses up, and we might have one upperclassman on the floor. So that's Kamiko. As Bruggen, I don't think Bruggen's checked out all game. And deep three-pointer here from Hattie Hecox, and that one is off. So need to start taking some inside shots. And driving through the lane is JC Proctor. She lays that one up, giving Swathers a nice lead.
Basket by JC Proctor.
As that's Proctor's first. Checking in is going to be Unruh and Hecox, as Williams picks up her second. And checking out is Hattie Hecox and Ashlyn Patrick. Coming on is Hallie Hecox and Cami Unruh. Unruh has 11 tonight. Looking to give the Cats a little bit of a shock of momentum here. Get some offensive possessions going on. They're down by 4. Hecox now to Unruh. Unruh over to Kamiko. Now Stoss has this down the short corner. Skip pass down, intercepted by Bruggen. She takes this one right up a hole at Esteem. She will lay it up, and that was just off the lip of the rim before they call a foul. So Kendra Bruggen will go to the line for 2.
Foul number 11, Allie Hecox, her second personal. Foul number 2 at the line, Kendall Bruggen.
Bruggen now. Going to give the Swathers a 6-point lead.
But Hesston's looking pretty strong in transition, scoring off most of their attempts. Bruggen finds a way to get to the line or off the glass. She just natural scorer. I think the main thing Moundridge needs to do is just play close, tight defense. Don't let their shooters get hot, and just stop the baseline drives. When they pop out to the corner.
It's quite the first half here for the Cats, 19-25. Setting up here for a nice finish to the girls' side of the championship game. As intercepted there is Bruggen. Bruggen to Leham. And inside here, JC Proctor in traffic and scores. Moundridge down 19-27 now. Swathers on an impressive run here. Inside now is Hecox. Hecox down to Patrick on a rowdy Hesston crowd. As that one is over now to Hecox. Hecox not a Conkling, and a lot of ball movement here. They love his dribble drive. His runs to an absolute brick wall is Conkling, and she will travel. Williams now inside to Bruggen. Bruggen fumbles the ball before picking it back up. Inside now is Crable. Crable over to Proctor. Proctor back out to Bruggen. Bruggen to Liam. Crable now right up top. Bruggen calling for the ball. She loves to get any kind of openings in the defense she can. Strong driver as we've seen as Williams puts up one through the rim. Jaden Williams inside looking for a nice bucket there. He's driving through now is Conklin before a big block there by Bruggen. Peacock's now in the corner looking for something. Gives this to Kamiko. Kamiko spins around before falling down. Picked up by Williams. Williams now 16 seconds for the Swather. Leaham drives, pump fakes in there, and will travel. So 12.5 remains on the clock. 19 to 29. Moundridge down by 10. Heaves it over. Fast break opportunity for Kamiko. She goes through, puts on up in traffic, doesn't get the spin she wants. Peacocks now spins through on a foul here from Crable, and she will go to the line for two. 19 to 29 now, 4.4 left on the clock before the second half. Moundridge down by 10.
Yeah, I mean, Connors has been a great game so far. Hesston just finds a way to score on most of their offensive possessions. You know, they're not making a whole bunch of turnovers, and on Moundridge's side of the ball, you know, we kind of got to stop throwing those long heaves of passes. Mitigate the turnovers and just capitalize on offensive rebounds so they can get those second chance opportunities.
Peacocks looking to get the Cats some momentum before the break, as her second free throw is no good, right off the lip of the rim. Bruggen now has this one with 2 seconds, takes a half quarter before the horn, and hits the scoreboard, similar to how LT hit the scoreboard last night against Holcomb. And we'll be back as Crable is unfortunately down, as she's going to check out. Hopefully she is okay. And coming on now are the Wildcat boys and the Hesston Swather boys. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. As we welcome you back to Moundridge Sports Network here in Hillsboro, as kicking off here for the Trojan Classic Championship of the girls' side. Moundridge is down by 10, looking to storm back a little bit and kind of let up a big run there, offensively too. They couldn't get it much going, and it's tough inside too. But overall, I mean, Hesston, they're such a good team, and Kendall Bruggen already with 16 points tonight, and they should just look to continue that success. And I think the keys for Moundridge is to contain number 3, and they should be pretty successful tonight if they can do that, as their offense has been not sluggish but not as efficient as games prior. Now Unruh up top, grinding over, finds Patrick. Patrick, a deep 3-ball, and that one is banking it in. So what a start here for the Wildcats, as Patrick gets on for the first time tonight with 3. And a travel there from Hesston, and there we go. There's that momentum that the Moundridge needed. So,
and Connor, that's a great way for the Cats to open up their second half with a 3-ball, closing the scoring gap to only 7 points, which is very closable with a whole half to play.
Peacocks crosses midcourt. Bruggen closely on her, swipes over, passes to Patrick. Patrick drives through, just had that big 3-ball earlier. And he drives up looking for her, and they do this dribble drive offense where they kind of run around and corners will float to opposite side baseline as Patrick drives through, finds a cutting Peacocks. Peacocks now drives through, puts one down to Kamiko. Kamiko back to Patrick. Patrick for another 3-ball, and that one is off, rebounded by Bruggen. And here we go. Abby Proctor now missing, and she misses again the exact same way, tipped out by Moundridge there, and that will remain Hesston ball.
And that'll retain Hesston's ball, giving them another offensive possession to try and score off of.
As Yoder up top. Wildcats giving her a step. Not a best shooting team other than Bruggen. I made a few big threes earlier in the first quarter. McGill gives the ball to Bruggen. Bruggen drives through, spins her on the backside of Hecox. Hecox now jumps up with Bruggen's 3-ball, and that one is off, rebounded by Unruh. Unruh drives up top, crosses over to Hecox. Hecox now in a triple threat motion, drives down here to Patrick at the baseline, back to her. And Hecox will throw it off of McGill's arms before it goes out of bounds. Inside now, Hecox trying not to turn this one over, and McGill will reach in for a foul.
Foul number 35, Ava McGill, her 3rd personal.
As McGill picks up her 3rd. Hecox gives this to Unruh, so down by 7, as looking to storm back a little bit here, as 6 minutes left to go in the 3rd. Peacock's their sister. She drives around, finds Patrick. Patrick now, top of the wing. Crosses over to the key, has that open lane, puts one up, and it's good. Abby Patrick on the board with 5 in the first 2 minutes of this half. And that will be another turnover for the Swathers. And coming to the game is Williams Proctor, and timeout by the Hesston Swathers. So down a little bit now. Moundridge, is starting to kind of swarm back, looking for any kind of momentum they have heading into the 4-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Head coach Matt Richardson for the Swathers. A lot of wins here, and I think he crossed the 600 wins last season.
So yeah, Connor, we've seen an impressive first half of play and a little bit more from both teams getting very physical. It's going to be a good one. Only down 5 points. Moundridge looking to answer back in this third quarter. But I think a huge key factor tonight is going to be offensive rebound.
Unruh now up top, crosses midcourt. Hesston down, up by 5. Moundridge looking to come back. Need a pretty big 3 here. I expect Patrick to get more involved as she's been early, as she has 5 in this third quarter. Unruh back down, tipped out by Kamiko to Hecox, and Hecox drives through before a huge block there from Bruggen, and Bruggen's taking it down on a 3-on-2. Drives through, great defense there from Patrick to stay disciplined up top. Yoder with the rebound, back out to Bruggen. Bruggen crosses up, puts one through, all chords. Kendall Bruggen picking right back up to where she left off. $19 points for Bruggen here in this third quarter. Kamiko spins outside and does not get the spin she wanted that time, as rare miss from Kamiko down low. And cutting through the lane now, Jaden Williams. As she's on the board now, she has 4 tonight. And timeout, Coach Huxman, not impressed with her defense. They're gonna hone them back in and relax a little bit. Nerves are coming out. Hesston is taking advantage of any kind of mismatches they can find, really driving through a lot. As we welcome you back to the Trojan Classic Championship here on Moundridge Sports Network, as looking to finish this third quarter out. Kendall Bruggen on an absolute tear here with 19 points so far in this ball game. Coming up after this is going to be the Hesston boys versus Moundridge boys, both battle of the undefeateds here for the Trojan Classic Championship of the guys. Unruh has it, closely guarded by Williams. She uses that speed of hers, and she loses the ball before getting a foul there, as Jaden Williams steals it and comes down, as that foul is on the Hecox, trying to poke that ball out. It's her first. Mason right over on Conklin, and she would put that one in. Casey Mason using her strength to her advantage. I believe she is in the 500-pound club for the Swathers, so pretty good weightlifter there. And Unruh driving through, puts one up, and takes a tumble with Mason, as Mason is down with a head injury. And another key injury for the Swathers is Avery Crable was down before the half ended in with a knee injury. She held that knee pretty considerably. Mason looks like she just hit her head pretty hard, and hopefully she is okay. She just had a huge bucket for the Swathers, so we're going to take a break, step aside here, and she gets checked out by athletic trainer Nate Bartel. As she gets up and walks it off, going to go get looked at, probably the concussion protocol, as hopefully she is okay. As lobbing this one up is Hecox to Unruh. Unruh spins around, finds Kamiko. Kamiko back out to Unruh in the corner. She drives baseline, throws one up, and will get called a foul on J.C. Proctor, as that is her first.
Fouls on number 44, J.C. Proctor, her second personal.
Correction, her second personal. Finds it cutting under. Unruh's sidestep, puts up a backwards layup before getting her own rebound and falls out before saving the play there. And inside now to Patrick. Patrick cuts through down to Hecox. So Cats are moving the ball pretty low despite Hesston playing some nice on-ball defense. As Macy Kamiko will cut through and get fouled and go to the line for 2.
Also number 44, J.C. Proctor, her third personal, team foul number 4. At the line, Macy Kamiko. In the game for the Swathers, number 4, Ashley Lehman.
As that one is good for Kamiko, so 25-36, 11-point lead for the Swathers. As update on Casey Mason, she sits back down, looks to be okay, thankfully. As she's such an important role for the Swather defense. As a huge rejection there from Unruh, flying up there and putting that one out.
And that's the type of physical plays we're going to need to see Moundridge make on defense to try and stop Hesston from scoring and start running away with it.
3:29 here, 25-36, 11-point lead for the Swathers. And Stas almost steals that before getting her own rebound. Deep three-pointer from Kendall Bruggen, and that one is just in and out. So Kendall Bruggen trying that range. She has 19 tonight and made a couple big three-pointers as well. As deep three of her own from Hattie Hecox, and that one is all Collards. Hattie Hecox big-time three ball there to put them down by 8. Cuts the lead. Driving through is Leham, and down to Proctor. Proctor thinks about giving this one to his sister, but she settled on Bruggen. Bruggen drives through, puts one up, draws the foul on Conkling. And she'll go to the line. She's to her third trip to the charity strike. Went 1 for 2 in her first and 2 for 2 in her second. And she makes that one to put her over to 20 points. Doing her thing. Missouri State commit, as we talked about. She's officially signed there, so looking to continue her academic and athletic career, crossing state lines, and she's quite the player to do so, as that one is good. So 21 points from Bruggen now. Hecox, who had just made that three earlier, as the Cats are now down by 10 after those 2 free throws. Conkling now tries a corner three of her own, and that one is just off the top of the rim, as Bruggen now pushes forward, gives this to Mason, who checks back into the game after her head injury. Yoder down to Bruggen. Yoder now has an open lane, decides not to take it, floats back out, finds J.C. Proctor. Proctor now to Bruggen. Bruggen spins around, tipped out by Stas. Great defense from Stas as Hecox drives through. Hesston takes advantage of the mismatch to Leham, and Leham rattles the rim and in. Nice ball movement there from the Swathers. Hecox wide open in the corner. Conkling doesn't see her as Yoder rips that one away, and we get called the jump ball.
In the game for Hesston, number 22, Brianna Grillo. And for the Wildcats, number 24, Macy Kamiko.
Inside now here is Mason at the top of the wing, and Mason to Leham, and Leham's three-pointer is just too hard off the top. Great rebound there by the Cats. Cats down by 12, looking to get some more momentum on their side. Swathers have come out of the gate, played pretty hard basketball, but I feel like the Cats have matched them. A deep three-pointer here from Conkling, and that one is just off. So fighting for it now, as that will remain Moundridge ball, and of course the Hesston Swather fans are not happy with that one. as neither would the Moundridge fans. And cutting through the lane here is Kamiko, and they will call a charge. Offensive foul for Kamiko. 28-40, 102 left to go in the third. Stick around after this one. We'll start a new stream just like we did last night for the Boys Trojan Classic Championship. That's going to be one crazy game.
Yeah, the boys' game should have a lot of fun moments we've been looking forward to. That'll be overthrown. Going the Wildcats' way. Your score so far, 28-40 in the third quarter without 50 seconds left. Wildcats need to start getting their offenses executed.
28-40, 49 seconds left to go. Peacocks gives this down. Unruh now to Conklin, Conklin to Kamiko, Kamiko to Peacocks. Kamiko now. Cats down by 12, and she'll double dribble on that, so another turnover there for the Cats, and it is tough. Yoder now to Bruggen. Bruggen up top, trying to choose some clock. Likely be the last play before the third quarter ends. And turnover there for the Swathers. So, I mean, one thing I feel like the Cats have done a great job doing is containing Kendall Bruggen. She's only had 3 points in this half so far. Unruh drives down, 4 seconds left, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, heaps it before the horn and not score it. And that'll do it for our third quarter. One more quarter left of the Girls Trojan Classic Championship, 28-40. Cats down by 12 means some momentum. As we'll be back for fourth quarter action here on Moundridge Sports Network. As Cami Unruh drives down, it's to get it to Patrick. Cats down by 12, but fully capable of coming back in this one. This game is far from over yet, so stick around for what's hopefully an exciting finish as Patrick falls over, but Peacocks will give this to Kamiko. Kamiko now back to her. Kamiko gets the ball back, cuts through the lane, steps through, and gets called for the foul is Casey Mason, and Kamiko will go to the line for two.
Foul for number 20, Casey Mason, her second personal. At the line, Casey Kamiko.
And right up top as that one swirls the iron. 7:30 left to go in the fourth, 28-40. Yoder stutter steps, finds cutting Proctor, but overthrows her. Proctor tries to save it, but won't, and that would be Moundridge ball. Inside now, Unruh gets the pass from Hecox. He drives over, looks right back around, follows this time, and he will get called for a foul. Is McGill, so not moving her feet enough.
Foul for number 35, Ava McGill, her 4th personal. Team foul number 2 in the game for the Swampers, number 2, Jaden Williams.
Right back down is Patrick on a nice corner slash wing, a three-pointer, as getting that one to go. And, you know, all of a sudden here, they're down by 9 points and are fully capable of coming back, like I said earlier now, as Bruggen now crosses over. Right up top on the wing, finds a cutting Proctor. Proctor again struggling with finishing as a big-time rebound by Mason, and she can't finish it. And they will call a foul on her. Kamiko takes a rough turn. It's a pretty big mismatch there.
Mason, her 3rd personal, team foul number 3.
Mason picks up her 3rd personal. Unruh now driving up the floor. Looking over long, 3-ball from Unruh and a bad miss there. Rebounded by the Swathers as Bruggen will pressure the floor. Stops over, looks like skip pass down to Williams. Williams now to Yoder. Yoder back to Williams. Proctor now finds a cutting Mason. Mason's 3-point play opportunity. Passes there. She'll get the and one call.
Fouls on number 20, Hattie Hecox, her 2nd personal. In the game for the Swampers, 44, J.C. Proctor.
As Mason puts up her free throw, and that one is no good. So 2-point play for the Swathers to put them back up 11. Patrick down to Hecox. Hecox right back down to Kamiko. Kamiko spins around it, and the Swathers have watched some film on Kamiko because they have found every single loophole in her little bag that she has with her spins, as stolen there by Callie Yoder.
And for the Wildcats, number 30, Aspen Stoss.
Inside, cutting through is Bruggen on a nice move there, but she cannot finish. Stoss with a big rebound. Slow to get up is Bruggen. Patrick puts one up. All cords, Addie Patrick, a big 3-point shot there.
You know, Connor, if the Wildcats can keep doing that catch and shoot for these last couple minutes, they could get it close.
8-point lead now for the Swathers. Driving down. Jaden Williams on baseline, curls back around, finds Mason at the elbow. Right back down to Yoder. Yoder puts up a 3-ball of her own and a bad miss there. Kamiko shifts around to Hecox. Hecox now driving down to Unruh. Big play here for the Cats. They can take a lot of momentum here and they will get fouled. Callie Yoder will pick up her 3rd personal.
Fouls on number 5, Callie Yoder, her 3rd personal, team foul number 4. And for the Swathers, number 4, Ashley Lehman.
Patrick now driving through, shifts around now to Hecox. Hecox's 3-ball just off the lip of the rim, rebounded by Leham. Down to Williams now. Williams cutting through, 3-on-2 opportunity here. Swathers now finds J.C. Proctor, and she lays it up for a 10-point lead now. And Wildcats really cannot grab a hold of the Swathers and keep them from scoring. And it feels like anytime they score, the Swathers match it and vice versa. As foul there by Jaden Williams. That would be her 3rd personal.
Her 4th personal. Team foul number 5.
as Moundridge is in the bonus now off of that Jaden Williams reach in. So Cami Unruh will go to the line. And Unruh will score that one, cutting the Swather lead down to just 9 points. Unruh now back right up, and that one is good. So back down to 8 points as Unruh has 13 tonight. Yoder over to Proctor. Proctor, capable three-point shooter, but doesn't take it. Bruggen now shakes and bakes up top. Aspen Stas will fight over. Cats need to start pressuring the ball. The Swathers are trying to chew up as much clock as possible, and gives it over to Yoder up top. Yoder now back out to Proctor. Proctor now to Bruggen. Bruggen spins around, puts up with 3 people on her, and gets her own miss, puts that one back up, and that one will go in and out. So going to the line for 2. Again, her 4th trip to the free throw line here tonight. 36-44, 3:36 left to go on the clock. She makes her first. (45-36) now, 3:36 in the 4th. As Hesston's student section is down, so a timeout by Coach Huxman. A full timeout, so we'll be back in a minute exactly. And rejoining you now, 3:36 left to go after the Bruggen free throw is timeout Coach Huxman trying to ice her a little bit. As Bruggen has 22 tonight, looking for her 23rd point of this evening, and she will. Bruggen a big part of this Swather team, as she's been a starter on varsity all 4 years. Tore it up as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and still tearing it up as a senior. Right back over here is Kamiko. Kamiko to Patrick, and Kamiko will travel. So, you know, a lot of these turnovers for the Cats have really kept them this far back. Bruggen now drives right, forces one over here to Proctor. Proctor takes one off the shoulder, back to Bruggen. Bruggen finds a cutting Yoder, back to Proctor. Proctor now pump fakes Aspen Stas out and puts her team back up by 12. JC Proctor with 8 tonight. The freshman picking up some solid time here. As Cami Unruh back on track here with 15 after that basket. Inside look here for the Swathers before they kick it back out to Bruggen. Bruggen to Yoder. Yoder now to Proctor. Proctor drives right, picks up her dribble, and gives this to Bruggen at the top of the Hillsborough logo. Yoder now to Liam. Liam back down to Bruggen. Bruggen to Proctor. So nice ball movement here for the Swathers. Trying to eat clock. JC Proctor wide open on the block again. Down by 12 now is the Wildcats, looking to just coast this way back. I mean, it's going to be kind of tough here. 1:39 left to go in the fourth. Need pretty big three balls here from Unruh, and that one is just too short. Bruggen now over top. Hesston looking to get their first Trojan Classic championship since 2023. They lost to Holcomb, or Hillsborough, excuse me, last season. Looking to eat as much clock as they can. 38-50. 1 minute left, as looking like Hesston will come out victorious in the 31st annual Trojan Classic. Tough break for the Cats, but coming out of this loaded tournament 2-1 is one of the best things that you can have.
And we'll see you back after the timeout. As welcome back to Moundridge Sports Network. Fourth quarter here in the Trojan Classic. 52 seconds left to go. 38-50. Hesston is on their way to a Trojan Classic champion. .50 seconds left. Inside look, closely guarded. Cats not giving up to their credit, as Hecox will physically foul inside from Bruggen, who took a tumble. As Hecox picks up her third personal. As she's had a pretty good second-year season here for the Cats. She's second year starting a lot, 8.2 points a game. Good rebounder, loves her pump fake options as well, as Bruggen shoots and misses. This is her fifth time to the line tonight.
And for Moundridge, number 11, Hallie Hecox.
As Bruggen will put that one up, rattles the rim and in, so 51-38. As Conklin cuts through the rim and will cut the lead down to 11, so that will most likely do it. The girls will take 2-1 on their record here coming out of this loaded in-season tournament. And to their credit, nothing wrong. This Hesston Swather team is very, very good and will make a pretty good run here in state. And that will do it. Hillsborough's Trojan Classic champions for the girls is Hesston Swathers, who will remain undefeated And we'll move to 10-0, and losing now is Moundridge, who will move to 11-2. So nothing wrong with this loss, as we're going to send it over to Joe Azevedo here for a little bit of recap.
All right, so let me talk about the game for a bit. Moundridge Hesston, a great physical team on both sides of the ball. Just that Moundridge came up short today. You know, Heston's Kendall Bruden had a whopping 24 points out of 51, almost over half. It's about 48.8% of the whole team scoring for the game. And on Moundridge's offense, Addie Patrick and Kemi Unruh were key moments on offense too. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're about to head to the boys' game in a little bit, so that'll do it. Hesston girls will come out on top, 51-40, well fought on both sides. Great game by both teams, but yeah.
As we thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back here for action of a boys Hillsboro Trojan Classic Championship, taking Hesston versus Moundridge once again, as this should be a great game, one for the ages, battle of the undefeated. We'll see you in